Welcome back to Babes Talking Business, and it's 2025.
Wow. It's already like nearly February.
It's wild.
I feel like I've been in a blur over the last since 2025 started because I've been offline, haven't been talking to anyone. I've just been like the biggest hermit. I'm like, oh, it's Australia Day soon.
Well, we're going to do this podcast at the end of last year. It's so good to be back in the studio, by the way. How beautiful is it? Because you know how everyone's doing like the highlight reels of the year and everyone's wrapping up the year. And I remember sending a message to Shani being like, we should do like a real one, like the shit and the shine of 2024. Because I actually think personally, it was the hardest year for me that I've had probably in my adult years.
Really?
Like with energy and roller coaster and just like the personal turmoil that I felt like I was personally going through.
It was a big year.
I felt like it was a big year. And then like when you're looking at everyone's highlight reels, like you probably wouldn't know from looking at everything just looks great. So I was like, I feel like, and that's why I always appreciated our podcast. I remember that was one of the reasons we did it at the start, was because we wanted to show life and business behind the highlight reels. So when you're in the thick of it, you don't feel like you're in the thick of it alone. So it was like, let's when we come back online, because we already had plans I had my family, or my husband's family from the UK over for Chrissy. Shani went over to, where did you go? Lake Tahoe.
To the snow. It was so nice.
It looks so beautiful. So we've had some time off. So we thought, let's kickstart 2025 with some reflections on the shit and the shine of 2024.
You know what? In hindsight, looking at last year, it was a really heavy year. I disappeared for most of it. People were like, where has Shani gone? So yeah, you're right. Let's talk about it, because I think a lot of people, especially those in our team, our friends know what's been going on, but there's a lot of people that are like, what happened?
Yeah.
What happened?
Where do we start? I feel like we got to start in the shit, because that's essentially where the year started. I remember coming back from my snow trip last year, because we just got back from Europe. We did Austria and Sweden. I came back on a high, and then I landed straight into the shit.
Yeah, let's start at the beginning.
I don't even know where to start. So I feel like too, the reason we haven't spoken about this, it's not like it's something that we've been hiding. I think something I've been mindful of in business is you always share from
not when
not
you're
the
in
wound,
the thick of it.
when you've healed. It's I don't want to. I never wanted to. Didn't know how to speak about it without me going through the motions, and it took me pretty much 12 months to ride through the emotions to be able to feel comfortable to talk about it as well.
Yeah.
So a lot of people who probably follow us on social media would have no idea. If you're in our team, you probably have a slight idea. We had our uplines leave our company pretty much at the start of the year. I remember coming back being really excited to grow business, and like you do at the start of the new year, touching base with all my leaders, and just there was this energy that was a little bit off.
Actually, wait, let me backtrack.
Yeah.
It happened in March, but for 3 months of 2024, January, February, March, we were holding on to a lot of information that we were not talking about to anyone. So we were keeping it. And that was heavy and that was hard, because we were like, there's stuff that we know about, but we can't say anything. And I think that was hard. The first 3 months of the year being how do we talk about this?
Yeah. And it wasn't our news to talk about. It's not our decision to talk about, but I'm going to try my best to talk about it in a way that's not talking out of school, because at the end of the day, I think the hardest thing to navigate was it affected us so much, but it still wasn't our journey to talk about, but it had such massive ramifications on our whole entire life, our income, our team, our happiness, I felt muted.
Yes, that's a good word.
I felt muted for most of last year. So yeah, I don't know how to even start it. I came back and I just knew that there was a bit of energy in the team, and I had heard that our uplines were looking at another company, and those conversations had also happened within my leadership team. And I think when you've been in the industry for as long as we have, you've been taught to react and respond a certain way, which is called inoculation, where you go in to protect your team or you talk about what needs to happen. But I think for both of us, we put friendship first, because we've created beautiful friendships with these girls, and our uplines are all leaders. I felt like they could make those decisions themselves and they didn't need us to inoculate. So I think for a few months, rather than pitching it in the butt, I let the conversations just roll out respectfully and just said, like, you need to do what you need to do.
Yeah,
you got to do what's best for your family.
Not my space, not my place to talk about it.
Yeah. And then I think it's hard because you're trying to navigate and put friendship first when you know, like, this is going to affect your business and ultimately your income. But secondly, I think there's another layer of complication there because we are part of the leadership team, like the corporate team. Yeah. And we were supposed to be sitting in like big corporate meetings.
Like the top 10 leaders of the company. We used to get together like every month and talk about like the company and what was happening and things that we could implement.
And I felt muted at those meetings because I knew that a big part of what was happening I couldn't talk about because I didn't want to talk out of school, but the people that it was affecting, they weren't talking up about it.
Yeah, it was hard. It was a really weird situation.
It was.
Yeah, so that was a pretty like shit start to the year because obviously the information came out and our CEO found out, and I don't want to tell the story for our uplines. It's not our story to tell, and I don't want to speak on their behalf, but essentially the short of the long is they were given an ultimatum because you cannot be in two companies, and they chose what was best for them. And our uplines left, which is crazy. Like being in the industry for 9 years now, like there's been so many times like where your downline are so rattled because their upline has left, right? Yeah. It's happened multiple times where the leaders have left and, you know, you just like come on in and swoop them up and adopt them and you're like, it's all good. Like I'm here. I'm not going anywhere. To have it happen to you, it's like, oh, I can see like how jarring this is.
But I think what was so jarring, like I said, it took me 12 months to ride the waves of this because I felt like there was so many nuances of it because if it was just uplines, yeah. But they were our best, like they became our best friends. They wed us.
Yeah, they married both of us, not to each other, obviously.
Obviously, we're kind of married. But the ramifications of what happened after that, because then we weren't really leading our team through it because we didn't want to talk out of school and talk for somebody else because it wasn't our situation. So we weren't talking about within the team, but the team could feel like, okay, something big's happening. We didn't want to talk to corporate, so we stepped away from the corporate meetings. So I didn't want to talk out of school either. So
we actually removed ourselves out of the top 10 leadership group because we were like, we can't be here. We don't want to say anything that's going to jeopardize our friendship. It was just such a weird, fucked situation.
Yeah, it was. And then because we did choose to put friendship first and just the way that it ended up rolling out when they were given an ultimatum, we got hurt in the process. I don't know how else to talk about that besides being like, I felt like we tried to do the right thing and
things were said, messages were sent, blame was, you know, pointed at you, me. Like it was just I think it was like such a rocky time. Like in hindsight, looking at it, like it was a shit show. And when something like that is happening, like you try and point the blame at externally, like you try and find like where the blame could sit and lie. And I guess like we were in the firing line of that and that really hurt. And in saying that, like I still love and respect our uplines, but also, thinking back about like what happened there, it caused so much I disappeared.
Lots of tears. Yeah. There was lots of tears.
And I disappeared. I don't know. Like you were really good. Like you were like a really strong pillar for your team. I feel like your leadership skills in that time was so amazing. Like my personality type was like, I cannot talk to anyone. Like I'm disappearing. And like even some of our like closest friends who are in our leadership team, they were like, Shan, like we need to talk, like what is happening? Like, you know, it was such a shock for everyone to have like two of the biggest leaders in the company just like, you know, have them leave with no explanation because no one wanted to talk about what was going on. And our team, like in hindsight, I wouldn't change the way I behaved because that's just how I process things and how like I was able to conceptualize like what was going on, like how I could really process my emotions of what was happening. But yeah, like I disappeared. You didn't. You were like,
I just kept thinking, and I think that's what hurt the most, is that I didn't talk out of school, and I could have, especially because some of the things that was spat my way when I actually hurt myself in the process to defend certain people really hurt. So the way that I decided to lead was like, I'm just not going to talk about it. I'm just going to be the example and show my team I'm still here. I'm not going to talk out of school.
Yeah, not going to go anywhere.
So I didn't talk about it though. But then but that kind of caused a lot of confusion in the team, because the team was like, they could feel that there was drama, and I felt really hard to talk about it, because I'm like, I'm really hurt. Like, I've actually been really hurt. And when I look back on the 12 months, it hurt financially, like, because the drama in the team caused a lot of our team to lose their certainty and confidence. So a lot of the team opted out. A lot of the team just felt like there was too much drama and felt like they had to choose between two parties. So they just decided to just like park business.
Some people chose
to go
over to their company. Yeah.
So that financially hit us. Like, my income halved last year. My team halved. But as much as I look back and that hurt, I think the biggest thing, and I've had to like actually go get coaching and support with it, and to actually understand what is going on for me in my head, was like, I needed to take some time to retreat, because I actually just felt burnt.
What do you think made you feel burnt the most? Like, what hurt you the most emotionally?
How I was spoken to, when I believe how I did everything in my power to protect people at the detriment of myself and my income. And I got shat on by the people who decided to leave. And it's not even the fact that they left, it's how they did it, and the fact that there was no accountability taken, and it was thrown in other directions. And it just made me think, because I do live and lead with my heart in my sleeve, and I give a lot. It made me think, what's the point in doing business and what's the point in creating friends and putting friendship first? Because I did it at the detriment of my income. What's the point? Like, I'm just burnt. Maybe I'll just be a stay-at-home mum and just F everyone, fuck everyone, and I'm just going to hide at home. And that's kind of what I did. Like, I led the team. So I guess that was a shit of the year, if we're honest. And it took me all of the year to process it, to get in a space where I'm really excited about business again. But I really it was a season of consolidation for me. But it was also a really beautiful season. I guess the shine was, it was my first year, I think, in my whole life, in my entire life, I've questioned everything. Like, what do I want? Do I even want to be in business? Do I just want to be a mom? Like, maybe I don't want to be in network marketing anymore, because I feel like I don't know if my heart can take the hurt that comes with this profession. Maybe I want to go back, because I know, and we've spoken about this on the podcast, like, I really love high performance coaching. Maybe I want to go back and work as a high performance psychologist. So I just had like a whole year of like running my business, but I'll admit, doing the bare minimum, and behind the scenes doing a lot of soul searching on, what do I want work to look like, and what is my zone of genius, and what do I actually enjoy, and what do I want life to look like actually just outside of business too, because like, we wanted to have a second. That's another conversation.
Yeah, you're doing a lot of soul searching when Loz says to you, I think I want a job.
Yeah.
I was like, what do you mean you want a job? You're like, yeah, I think I'm going to just get a job. And I'm like, no.
Yeah, I literally was like, I think I just want to go work as a psychologist and just work one-on-one with people.
I was like, what about babes in business?
So that was a shit. That was a shit that ran for the whole year. Like I said, I feel like it only got out of a funk, and it took me a lot of coaching with different business coaches.
Let's talk about the shine. What's something that
I feel like that was the shine from that, was
like the soul searching.
Was the soul searching. It took me a year, but I ended the year with clarity on what I actually want. And I feel like you go through seasons of like, you know what you want and everything's great, but it's very naive. This is one of my coaches told me, to think that life just keeps going like this. And I actually do think that life, like, I might be stupid, but that is my perception of life. I feel like life does keep going like this because you get better at processing. So I have never actually accepted or entertained the idea that I would have a season of life where it's like this.
Yeah.
Because I just figured like, yes, that's external circumstances, but I have an ability to cope with it. And I just didn't feel like I was coping with it the resilient, happy, strength-based way they usually would.
Yeah. Yeah, it was a bit of a wobbly year.
It was wobbly.
Yeah. Well, I think for me, like, as much as the year started off shit, the shine that came from that is in my way of processing, I disappeared and I went on a massive sabbatical. And I think it was like 4 weeks. I just completely went offline and I wrote a book.
You fucking wrote a book.
And self-published a book in that time. So, and I think it was like a very therapeutic process for me. Like, I think your second book was the same for you, like really therapeutic in the way that like you're writing about what you've learned and what you've gone through and like what the lesson is in the whole process of it all, and realizing like, oh, it's all perfect. Like it's all meant to be like this and I wouldn't change a thing. And as much as it was like really horrible, like this feels so good, like ending here, like at this point. So yeah, that was my shine of the one of
the shines.
shines of the year.
One of the shines would definitely have to be I fell pregnant with our baby.
Yeah.
And
which I think is a boy, by the way.
I think it's a boy too. So like
Well,
if it's a girl, you
everyone's
can
saying
all like,
it.
yeah, I'll be very surprised if it's a girl.
It's
But
definitely a boy.
and I think it's not until like you are at the age of falling pregnant, you realize how much of a blessing that is. Because I know I've got a lot of girlfriends around us where the fertility journey is not always a straight, smooth one. So I know that in itself was a blessing. Very grateful to fall very easy. So that is definitely a shine. And people talk about like, when are you ready for your second and stuff? And intuitively, it just felt right. Like I didn't have to talk myself into it. It was just like, I'm ready. Like, can we do it? And then the shit of the shine is that I got HG, which is I should really learn how to say it, 𝗦𝗢𝗖𝗓𝗦.
You've never said that right on this podcast. Even the last
𝗦𝗢𝗧𝗓. I'm pretty sure that's it. Just
Who
HG.
names this shit?
Sounds like a Harry Potter spell.
It does.
It does. But it's just like extreme vomiting and nausea, which I had with Stevie. I was hopeful that the second pregnancy would be different. But the shine is that I've survived it. Like, and I honestly think it's one of the hardest things I've ever gone through in life. So I don't know if that just means I'm very blessed or it is just really fucking hard. But also I hit the lowest of lows in my pregnancy. So I'm like, we're going through this stuff with business and income, and then I'm really happy and I'm falling pregnant. But by week 6, my head's in the toilet 24/7 vomiting, and my life's pretty much like that from week 6 to week 20 in pregnancy. And I hear women talk about how they lose themselves like in the newborn phase. And I lose myself in pregnancy because you can't, everything that brings me joy. Like I'm a pretty simple person. I love being in my body. I love running. I love eating healthy food. I love like cold therapy. I love massages. I love reading books. I love sitting in the sun. Like you can't do any of it. Like you literally just sitting on a couch, and if you're not vomiting, you're coaching yourself not to vomit for like 20 weeks straight. And you wake up and it's the same day all over again. So I just remember being like, yeah.
And with a toddler.
So then you've got the extra layer of mum guilt because like they're just like, play, mummy, why won't you do this? And you're like, I'm dying.
Oh.
So it was my lowest of lows mentally. And it was the first time I've actually gone and seen a psych. And I think that's something also I kind of want to talk about too, because I feel like a lot of people don't do that privately. And it's funny because I said to Shen too, because at that time I was entertaining the thought of going back and being a psych. I was like, okay, well, because that's what my background is. It was my first session actually with a psych. And I was there like twofold, because I was kind of there being like, I need to be here because I need help.
But I'm also sussing
out your job. Being like, don't want to do what you do.
Brain works.
And so I kind of left that. She gave me a good perception too. She talks about adult developmental psychology, and we talk about like adolescence. You go through this big growth when you're a teenager of like what happens in the lifespan. But she talks about the developmental changes women go through, especially in motherhood. And she's like, you have been on a trajectory of like this, like if you can't see, obviously you're listening to a podcast, like up since you were like 16. Like you've always been motivated and achieving and like going for the scholarship, going for the job, building a business. It's like, this is your first year or your first season of pause in 15, 20 years. And so it was just nice to have somebody external being like, it's okay to just pause. Like, life is not going to just keep going up and up and up. You need a second to breathe. So I got some clarity and some peace from that. But then I also got some clarity and peace in the fact that I got to squish the idea of me going back and being a psych, because I hated it. I'm like, I don't want to work with clinical psychology. Like I definitely see it in my future, but it'll be like positive psych or high performance psychology, which isn't a space that is recognized or registered in Australia. So that, but I still wouldn't need to go down that route. It'd be something that I just personally brand.
Yeah. What was it like having someone give you advice that you already know, but like advice that you would give me, for example, if it was me, but like you hearing it and being like, I know this, but yeah, like.
It just also made me think about like, fuck, people who are inside network marketing, especially our company, don't realize how good they've got it because they get so much personal development and coaching that I was paying a woman great money to give me. And I was like, I've heard all this before and all the women in our team get it for free.
I love that that's what went
so
through your
my
mind.
head. I was just like, oh my gosh. Like, I think if you're new and you don't do much PD, like a psychologist appointment might be like big. But I'm just like, we live and breathe this and we give this advice daily. So yeah.
Well, I suppose on the back of your shit of pregnancy and HD, I think for us this year, one thing that we kind of navigated, Matt and I, was like just parenthood. It's like, it's so funny. Like, I don't know how to explain this, but like you love your kid so much. They're like the most beautiful, cutest, like that whole like thing about unconditional love. Like sometimes I look at Rui and I'm like I unconditionally love you. Like he could bite me in 1 second and in the next second I'm like, oh, you're so cute. Like it's just crazy. You love them so much. And yet like last year we had conversations where Matt was like, I don't know if I can do another one. And I just think like, oh my gosh, we bumped into friends on the beach who were doing their pregnancy photo shoot. Like we didn't know they were pregnant. We bumped into them and we were like, oh, hi. And they were like, oh, hi. Like we're just doing our announcement photos. We were like, oh my God, congratulations. And God bless him. The dude was like, he turns to Matt and goes, so what age is the hardest age? And Matt literally was frozen and he was like, all of them. I just looked at him and I was like, you can't tell like parents to be that. But everyone hides it from you, right?
Yeah.
Like everyone's like, oh, it's just so beautiful. It'll change your life. It'll fucking change your life. So yeah, anyway, like, you know, I think for us, the hardest thing in parenthood is like you want to be a conscious parent, present. You want to raise like a really confident, well-adjusted, very like happy kid. And in that, like you have moments where you just want to scream and you're like, that's not very conscious of me. And so just like the whole toing and froing of like, I love you so much, you frustrate me so much. I love you so much, you frustrate me. It's just like, I know I'm not the only one. So it's just like, I don't want to categorize parenthood in the shit part of my year, but literally getting to some moments. And I mean, he's 2.5. So like, it's an age where like they developmentally, like they start, you know, getting a voice and they start telling you what they want and don't want. And they start to like throw down on you for no reason because the color of the cup is red and it's not the yellow one. And you're just like, what the fuck? Like, so yeah, there's been moments in conversations where we're like, well, I definitely want a second. Like I'm 100% on it. I've definitely been like, do I want to do this again? And Matt's just not there yet.
Yeah.
Like he's like, I'm like, bro, you're not even doing the sleep training, the toilet training. Like you go to work, you get the best bits. Like I'm the one that's doing it all.
Shit. You get the shine.
Yeah, literally. But yeah, like navigating parenthood has been a big one in the last year. But in the next breath, I'm like, I fucking love it so much.
It's just a whirlwind. It's duality. It's all of it.
Yeah.
I think that's what we wanted to shed light on this episode is like there has been so much shine. So like I remember hearing this saying when we first started our business, especially in network marketing, is that so many people underestimate what they can achieve in a year and underestimate what they can achieve in 10 years. And I set it as on my goal to have a certain amount of net worth in 10 years. So we hit that last year. So that was a shine. And it was one of those little like silent pat in the back, like that acknowledgements, like you stood the course, like you trusted the process.
Yeah.
So as much as all the shit was happening, it was just like, it works. And even what the coach was talking about was like, why did you say yes to this profession in the first place? And what's the goal and what was the vision? And I was like, I described my life. He's like, and you're living it. And I was like, yeah. And then he's like, and what was like the financial goals? And I said that, and he's like, and you just hit it. And I was like, yeah. He's like, so despite all the shit, it's worth it, isn't it? And I was like, helped me kind of wrap a bow on the year. So yeah, we had a net worth goal that we got to tick off, which was just, yeah, a little like encouragement we were going the right way, and it's all the shit is worth it. Ticked over 7 figures in commissions in network marketing. So that's also like just one of those like personal goals, more so to just prove that you can do it. Like I think when you start the network marketing profession, you forget that everyone starts from zero.
Yeah.
Like that's something that we've built over the years and persevered and built leadership and the person that you grow into. So that was a shine.
A shine for us in that space was our crypto went crazy.
Oh, yeah.
I think our portfolio like jumped a ridiculous amount overnight at one point, and I was like, okay, we should throw more into it. But really exciting, our Bali villas are finally ready, so people are staying there. That's really nice. We're actually going in 3 or 4 weeks to stay in our one, which that'll be nice. So yeah, we did stay at the villas in actually when I wrote my book when we were in Bali. But it wasn't our villa. Like that was one of the villas that we sold. So it'll be really nice to go back in a few weeks and be like, this is actually our one.
So cool.
Rui calls it the Rui Villa.
Yes.
I'm like, yeah, okay. So that was a shine. Just like seeing that come to fruition. Like, I mean, Matt is more heavily involved in that than I am, obviously, but just like to see all his hard work alongside with our partners, and just like it's actually so beautiful. Like
it's stunning. It's stunning.
I'm like, am I being biased?
No,
it's
no.
It is phenomenal. Like there's nothing in 𝗦𝗢𝗓𝗦 like it. Like you get a personal butler, you get a buggy that you can like go drive around in if you don't want to have a bike. All the restaurants around it, like you get a discount at. It's so family friendly. You can get like a breathwork facilitator to come to your villa and do a session with you. Like there's just been so much thought, and like it really is like a luxury stay. It's not just like a Bali villa. It's just like elite. I'm just so proud of it.
Yeah, I'm proud of you guys too. I always say that because I did it with our friends too, and I send them messages. I'm like, you guys, I'm just so proud of you. It's so beautiful.
Yes.
I love it.
It's nice. We're going to have to go there. It's so family friendly. So
Yeah.
we're going to have to go there when Bub is ready to be in the world, and go and have a little bar.
So many adventures to be had in those villas.
Yeah. Yeah.
As I say, I feel like I've got 2 more shits. I don't want to end on shit, so I hope you've got some shines.
Let me have a look at my notes.
Yes,
I have plenty.
For the first time ever in my life, I had to get a lawyer because my publisher stopped paying me royalties for my first book and is currently holding my book ransom. So I haven't been promoting my book because I don't actually know if you buy it, if you'll get it. And if you buy it, I actually haven't been paid for them in 2 years.
Why not? Like, what's the deal there?
She's just
a shithead.
A shithead.
No, but really, why?
Legit, like legit, just like isn't running a business like a business. Like,
is she responding to your emails?
No, and even with a lawyer involved.
What?
So she has like 400 of my books in a warehouse in Perth that are supposed to be sent to me, and what she's saying is in the warehouse doesn't marry up with what my reports say. So there's books that are missing, and I was like, all right, just give me my books and I will distribute.
Doesn't want to give them to you.
Haven't heard, like she was supposed to send them 6 weeks ago with a tracking number. She's not replying to any emails.
Whoa, that's so unprofessional.
Yeah. So just like when you put anyone who's written a book, like you put so much effort into it, and like you think like the hardest part's writing it, and it's just so deflating to think like for 2.5 years now I haven't been able to promote it because I'm not getting paid for them, and I don't even know if you'll get them. So because even if you order through a bookstore, it's supposed to be distributed by her. And she's
like if someone buys it like from Booktopia or whatever, that's all linked up to her warehouse.
Yeah, and she owns like the rights to my book. Like she owns the back end.
Oh.
So it's been really hard because I just wanted to tear her to shreds on social media and be like, can I take it to social media now and just ruin your name? Because she still shows up on social media at like authors,
Oh, right. So
author
she's
events. She's showing
promoting.
up and being like, but not promoting my book, just talking about how she's such a great publisher and how authors can make all this money publishing books and you should sign with her. I'm like, your authors aren't making any money because you're not paying them their royalties. So that
Name
was a
and
shit
shame.
for the year, and I'm still in the shit of that one.
And then like having to get lawyers onto that, so
Yeah.
expensive.
I'm lucky Dan's got some friends.
And ChatGPT as well.
Yeah.
How good's AI for like writing stuff like
I
that?
was gonna say, I'm like, the amount of times you've had to like send legal letters, I'm like, it should just be normal for me, but like this is the first time I've actually had to like put my big girl pants on and threaten someone legally. It's scary.
Well, I did have to send a cease and desist last year, actually, now that I think about it.
No, I think you've done a few in our
I've
times
done a
in business
few,
and
yeah.
together.
They always work. Okay, a shine. Wait, back that up with a shine and then I'll.
I don't know if I have a shine. I don't have a shine for that. Do you have a shine for that?
I have a shine.
My shine is celebrating you doing your book and knowing that next time if I ever want to write one, I will
Self-publish on
and
Amazon.
not go through a publisher. Yeah.
Yeah, that was actually that was a good find. How did I find that out? I think I watched a YouTube video.
Yeah.
That's right, I did. That's how I found out about it.
There's a shine. Hopefully you guys, if you ever want to write a book, you can take a shine from our lessons.
Yeah, self-publish. I mean, you have to do the promotion and stuff, and I do have a bit of an audience, so that was good. But yeah, I mean, it would be nice to have it in a bookstore. Anyway, okay, so one of my shits of the year was when like everything happened from the beginning of the year and then like disappearing for a month and then coming back. Like I really questioned like what I wanted to do as like in like how I wanted to move forward in my career as a business woman. Like I was like, do I really want to do network marketing? Like this is just a shit show after 9 hard years, like to see like not just team, like friends and leaders, like just move company, just be like, that's hurtful to have like people of it. Like I was also like very embarrassed is the wrong word, but I was like, there's so much unnecessary drama. And I was so like repelled by it, but I was also like, I felt sorry for the team. So I think I like really questioned the profession, and I definitely like had a moment where I spoke to my new upline and the CEO of the company and be like, I'm tapping out. Like, I think I want to tap out. And I'm so grateful that they just held so much space for me, but also like talked me off the edge. And they were like, just go and breathe and like find yourself. And I did that, which was really nice. Like as much as like I still ran my business with our direct selling company, like it's still like doing its thing. I finally launched my mastermind, which has been something that's been on my heart for so long, but I never had the guts to do it because I thought, oh, I can't do it. I don't have the time, or I don't have the authority. I don't have like all the things were coming up for me. So I think like all that kerfuffle that happened definitely pushed me into that direction to be like, well, Shani, you've got to problem solve, like go and find yourself and who you are outside of the profession. So I really got to like launch something that I'm so passionate about and like really integrate my astrology stuff into it, because that's something that I never spoke about like in our coaching and mentoring with our team. Like I just felt like it was the wrong place and space to bring astrology into the mix. So to be able to create my own space on the side and launch the mastermind, launch one-on-one coaching as well outside of the network marketing profession was a really beautiful experience. Like, yeah, I learned a lot about myself, and I essentially just started a new business on the side. So just like getting creative and doing all that stuff and like promoting myself and launching it and actually coaching people that paid me because they wanted to be in my space and also valued my input. Like that was a really nice feeling. So that was a shine. But in saying that, like after finishing the last round of alchemy and finishing my one-on-one coaching for the year, like with my clients, I went through like a really weird lull, and it's not something I've spoken about openly other than to you and maybe one other friend and Matt, obviously. But I finished the year like not knowing what to do. Like it was a really bizarre feeling of like feeling, I think the best word is lost. Like, what do I want to do next year? Like, how am I stepping forward? And you know how like people post the highlight reels at the end of the year and like you see people doing their vision boards and stuff. Like, I've done that for the last 10 years. Like, I'm that person who posts the highlight reel, who does the vision workshop, who does the mission statement and the vision board. Like, that's been me every year. And for the first time ever, I felt no desire to do any of it. And also like felt very emotional about that. Like, what's wrong with me? So I have a business coach and I also have an emotional coach. And I reached out to both of them. My emotional coach is like very like based around energetics and stuff. And I was like, what the fuck is wrong with me? Like, why do I feel like this? Why do I feel like I don't know what I want to do next year? Why do I feel like I want to do nothing? Why do I want to feel like I just want to disappear? Like, I felt so weird. And she asked me something so profound and which was really helpful, but she was like, it's okay to like question everything. And in hindsight now, I'm like, I really did have a big year last year, like of ups and downs. Like, I think it was very natural to end the year on like oh, okay, like that was a really big, heavy year. And now I just don't even know what's next. So she was like, you know, how much time, what was the question? She said, how much time would you feel safe in not knowing the answer of what's next? Like, how much time can you give yourself? Give me a date for you to sit in nothingness. And yeah, I'm just so happy she asked me that question because I was like, okay, safety is like, I was feeling like lack of safety in that whole like lost feeling, that hole I was in. And I think I gave her mid-January. I was like, okay, smack bang in the middle of January, the 15th of January, if I will feel safe to feel nothing until then. And she was like, okay, go and enjoy your family vacation, like sit in nothingness, do nothing. So I like very openly spoke about this on social media about like having a sabbatical. I went offline. I wrote a poem about it. I got very artistic because I was channeling and downloading nothing. Like literally nothing was coming through me and it was frustrating. So instead I just like surrendered to the nothingness and it was really nice to end the year like that for once. And it's funny how like it all started coming to me, like the downloads and everything, like before the 15th of January. I was like, okay, I'm clear. Like I feel really good about what 2025 looks like. And that was nice. But that whole feeling of lost, like I've never felt like that before.
I was saying this in the car here. I feel like I was there just like 3 months prior to, because that's how I explained like when I went and saw my psych. I'm like, I don't feel anything. And I think that's what was so scary because I've never not felt ambition. I've never not felt drive. I've never not felt joy. And I couldn't experience joy in anything. Like nothing. There was no
nothing excited you.
Nothing excited me.
Yeah.
So I guess we wanted to have this episode. So it's not just all the shine, but also the shit. But if you are in the shit, I guess it's also kind of some hope because I experienced joy. I feel like me again. But that was a good 4 or 5 months of not for me personally in my pregnancy and with life outside of that. And then the other shit that this ended the year with beautiful shit was my mum got diagnosed with a tumor in her brain. So I just like took the family, hit them another whammy. So mum goes in for brain surgery this week coming. And I think the beautiful way of wrapping a bow on personally my 2024 was just like the resilience. Like people can throw you shit. Some things you can control, some things that you can't. But I'm proud of how we responded to shit throughout the year. And I've had a lot of conversations with my husband with what happened at the start of the year. What did we learn? What would we do differently? And I don't think I would do anything differently. I'm proud of how we handled it. And I'm proud of the self-compassion I had through my pregnancy when it's really rough. And it's just reminded me at the end of it all, like what we do it all for. And we do it all for family. And Like the fact that we have spent the time, and it is worth building businesses that have given us the freedom to be, as much as parenthood can be the shit, we've been there for all of it, and I can be there for my mum through the thick of her stuff. And it's not all rainbows and sunshine. In 2024, you've obviously heard, for us personally, wasn't one of those years for us. But I think we ending the year really proud of how we survived it. Maybe it wasn't a year for thriving, but I think we've both come out even more grounded and clear in who we are and what we stand for. And it's made us better people and better leaders, I believe.
Yeah, I believe it's not what happens to you, but how you respond. And I am really proud of how we responded to everything this year. I mean, we could have responded so differently in so many of those situations.
I think this is the first time most of our team are even hearing us speak about it, I think says a lot too.
Yeah, like I haven't spoken about this openly. I've had a lot of team like message me to be like, we are like left in the dark, like you need to talk about it. And I was always like, yes, we are going to talk about this. And I said to everyone, like, my inbox is open for questions. Like any question you have, you will hear from me.
Or waiting for us to come and talk. Like they weren't coming with questions. They just wanted us to talk about it. I'm like, well, I don't need to.
They didn't know what to ask. Yeah. Like so much of it was swept under the rug, which was not fair on us. B, it wasn't like a normal situation where like someone, like a leader leaves in your team and then you just like, you go in protective mode and you openly speak about what's happening and you tell everyone what it is and blah, blah, blah. Like it was so different and we couldn't talk about it out of respect to our friends, out of respect to information we knew that we weren't allowed to talk about. Like it was just so, yeah, it was hard. And I think despite it like feeling like a kick in the gut to what happened, like the aftermath of how we reacted because of how we protected certain people and how that was then like it jeopardized us. Like I'm still proud of that.
And there's so much, I know we've spoken about it probably indirectly throughout the podcast last year, but we've just learned, like we've both kind of got clarity now on what business to look like. We've both got that recommitment that we love. Yeah. We love our company. We love where we are. We're not going anywhere. But also
new boundaries as well.
But also we want to build it differently. Like I kept saying, like this is my season 2 of my life and my business. I feel like there was Lauren before 2024 and there's Lauren after 2024. And there's so much shine because I have learned, we have had 10 years of business experience and we've ridden the economy wave, we've ridden COVID, like pandemics, we've ridden leadership shit. Like we've got such great leadership skills. I really, truly believe that how we will lead here and how we'll be leading and building business will be so different. And we wouldn't have had that without the shit that happened this year.
Yeah. I'm proud of you.
I'm proud of you.
Okay, let's wrap this up on what are you looking forward to this year? I think I know what you're going to say. But
meeting my baby. Becoming a mama of 2. And I'm probably going to eat my words. I'm sure we'll have a podcast episode on this afterwards. But I really enjoyed like the 4th trimester. Like I loved being in the mum bubble with Stevie. And I'm just excited that this baby's due on Stevie's 3rd birthday. So it's pretty much the exact same pregnancy. And like it's due in like winter. And I'm just excited to have like that 4th trimester cuddled up and enjoy like the newborn bubble.
Yeah.
And just give myself that season of pause. Like I'm not in a massive build mode and I actually have no guilt or desire to be. So just having that season of pause and peace this year. What about you?
This is my year to like really focus on my health and wellness. Like it is my top and number 1 priority. And I am getting the hot and sexiest I've ever been in 2025.
I'm fucking scared because I swear that was you last year. Like you were, look how hot you are. Like you like were going to the spa house. I'm like, cut your hair. Like you got like the postpartum health and fitness back. I'm like, I thought that's what last year was about, babe. Like
no,
oh my gosh.
I'm going another level.
Another level, 2025.
I'm in my bad bitch era. Got new tats.
Yeah.
You know?
It's
just, I'm feeling the vibe.
Okay, well, you get hot and I'll get fat and then you inspire me to get fit after postpartum and I'll cut maybe my hair off.
Yeah, I'm feeling like I need to grow the hair now. Like it's funny, like I topped the hair when like the new Shani, the 2.0 Shani came out. Now I'm like, okay, 3.0 Shani's coming. The hair just needs to be a little bit down here. So that's happening.
Love
what's
it.
happening. But yeah, I'm like exercising so much. I'm eating so well. I'm doing the 75 hard at the moment, but I haven't told anyone. But now everyone knows. I'm on day 18.
Woohoo. Smashing it.
Yeah.
2025, hey.
I'm excited for it.
I'm excited. I am excited. A lot wiser, a lot more stoic, my husband would say. Resilient.
Well, I love you, and I'm glad that you were next to me through that year because, yeah, I'm glad that's gone.
What a shit show.
I'm glad
Let's
it
have
was-
some more shines in
Yeah.
2025.
Let's do it.